Welcome to the Win, Make, Give Season 2 podcast. This is all about winning. And specifically, Chad, we are right in the middle of one of our favorite things, which is a series. What series are we in?
The Talent Series.
Rah! Chad, Bob Stewart, that was your opportunity to go rah.
Thank you, Bob.
That was quite an awesome growl. What have we covered so far, Chad Himes?
Ben, we have gone through the Talent Series. We've taken them through an intro, what we're going to be talking about in the whole series. You've taken us through some great ways to find talent, including some places you have surprisingly found people. And then we did part 1 and part 2 on the hiring process, how to make sure you're hiring the right talent before moving forward.
So let's say we've had the opportunity, we've gone out and found a couple of great candidates, we've sorted through them, we found the best of the best, and we found somebody, and we made them an offer to come into our little abode, to our love shack, so to speak, to come work in your company, to take on this new opportunity, this new role.
I'm sorry, did you say Love Shack?
It's the Love Shack, baby. It's a little old place where we go to work.
Sorry, when you said that, I got scared you were going to start singing, so I
Do not encourage the singing. We've had this conversation, Bob.
It's just a little old place where, Bob Stewart.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, anyway, so we got them hired. We're ready to go. Day one, they walk in. I want to ask you a question. This is somebody that you want to help change your business. This is somebody that you spent a lot of time and energy on saying, checking references and doing interviews and going through this whole in-depth process, which we talked about. And they come in on day one, let's say Monday morning, they stroll in at 8:30 on time. What is a bad experience like, Chad? If you could just imagine what a bad experience could be like on day one at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to have you answer this. Bob,
Yep.
I'm going to give you a little bit of head start because sometimes you're not paying attention. We got to
I'm
prime you up.
now that I said my name.
I want you to think about what is a great experience. What would that feel like? What would that look like? All right, Chad,
Yep.
the bad experience.
Yeah, I'd probably walk in at 8:30 and look around and have no idea where I'm supposed to go. Maybe there isn't even someone at the front desk. And even if they are, and I say, hi, I'm the new guy, they weren't even expecting me. Welcomed into the office with no clue where to go. And once they take me somewhere, they probably drop me down at a desk and say, welcome to the family, and leave me be.
The boss that was all jacked and treated you so well when they were doing the interview process, they're probably on the phone. Hey, I'll meet you with you soon. They're busy, right? And you're just sitting there like, gosh, did I just make the greatest mistake of my life?
Yep.
You ever been through any of those hiring experiences?
I have been in some experiences like that, yes.
It wasn't any of the companies that we
It
worked
was
with.
not working with you, Ben. No.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that when I interviewed Chad, I made him go on a fishing trip with me for 3 days, stuck him in the boat in the rain. We had a great time, didn't we, Chad Himes?
It was a fantastic memory, and it'll stay as a memory. I will let you all know he took me to Forks, Washington, and just so you know, that is where the Twilight series was based upon because it was the gloomiest, least amount of sun anywhere in the country, perfect for vampires to live. That's where we spent 3 days freezing on a river.
Starting the experience off right.
Absolutely.
That's what we're doing. Bob, 8:30 in the morning. I walk in, my first day on the job, I'm super jacked. I just spent the last 2 weeks investing my time and energy going through the interview process, getting to know you, checking references on me and me checking references on the company. I walk in and I get home at the end of the night and I say, Chad, you're not going to believe this, buddy. I had the best frickin' first day ever. What does that look like?
Well, I'd assume when they walked in the door, there'd be somebody there at the desk or that greeted them and knew they were coming and probably had a little something for them, right? In our world, that might be a package with a shirt and a hat and all the swag or whatever, right? Just as a little thank you and a welcome.
Wait a second. I walk in the door. Just as work with me here. I walk in the door and you're standing there. I haven't met you before. What are you going to say to me?
Hey, Ben, welcome to the company. We're so excited to have you here. Like, this is your first day and we can't wait to make it awesome.
That's way different than going to the Chad experience.
Yes.
Chad experience, no, he didn't know where to go. They didn't know who he was. I'm walking in like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, they were expecting me.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Okay, now they're expecting me and they give me a gift. What's in the gift?
Oh, t-shirt, a hat, a coffee mug, just some of the stuff that can make them kind of get the uniform on and feel like they're a part of the company when they're walking around here. Because everybody else here is going to have their shirt on and their coffee mug, right?
Well, they got some swag.
Swag, yeah.
Swag works. It's good. Makes people feel good, right?
Yeah.
You want people to be proud of where they work. Oh, great. I'm walking in. I strip my clothes off because now I have swag to wear. So I put on my new swag.
Right.
I fill my coffee cup up with some hot chocolate, the hot chocolate with little marshmallows in it. Look at the hot chocolate and the marshmallows, right? I got my hat now and I got my swag, which is awkward because I just stripped naked and nobody gave me pants. So I'm walking around day one, no pants on, but I got some swag, a hat,
But you
and a
fit
cup.
in here, so it's good. It's good.
What's the next thing that would happen in that
I
experience?
think the next thing would be that somebody would walk them around and personally introduce them to everybody in the company. And this is a pretty standard approach for us. They just kind of get the tour of the office, right? Like where are you what's this gonna look like? Where are you gonna go to grab your coffee? Who are you gonna meet? Who are these people? What is this area of the company? That's the accountants over there. That's the support team. That's the success team. Those kinds of things. Show them around.
All right, so I'm walking through with you, Bob. I've still got no pants on, but I'm wearing swag. And you introduced me to the first person. How are you going to introduce me to Dave Weldon, who does our audio, visual, and video recording? You're going to say, hey.
I'm going to say, hey, Dave, this is Ben Kinney. We just joined the family. Today's his first day. We're super excited to have him. We went through a really extensive interview process. We think we got a really awesome individual here. And we only hire awesome individuals, Dave. Meet Ben.
That's awesome because now I'm all excited because I got a compliment. And this new person I just met walking me around with my new swag, and now I got a swagger. Because I got swag and I got the swagger because Bob is giving me the compliment. So I'm walking around with my swagger and I'm thinking, oh, I was their top candidate. They must have interviewed a lot of people to choose me. And they're interviewing me to Dave. And then you walk around to the next desk, but I already know that person. How do I know that person, Bob?
They were part of the interview process. You had a screening call with them before you ever joined the company.
Yeah, I got to meet them during the process.
Yeah.
Either I was checking references on the company or I did a group interview. I got to meet them. So I'm walking around. It doesn't feel like a brand new company because the next person says, hey.
Oh, hey, Ben, it's me, Mikey. Yeah, hey, we talked 2 weeks ago, right?
It's a horrible Mikey impersonation. Just so you know.
That's a great voice, Bob. Well done. Okay, so now I get introduced to everybody. I got my swagger because I'm pretty freaking good. You know what I mean? I got chosen. I'm like the chosen one, and I got my swag, so I'm looking good. What's the next thing?
I think the next thing would be to take that, like probably the last person they would get introduced to, or the way you might lay that out would be the person that they're going to end up with to start their day here.
Okay, so now we're going to do a role we're going to do a role reversal here, Bob. So now you're going to be that person, and I'm going to be the boss.
Okay.
All right.
How do I work at this place? Because this is a way better place to work than the place that I was at.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
All right.
I apologize. Okay, so now, Bob, how was your tour? You look good in that swag.
Yeah, it was nice. It was good.
Did you meet everybody?
Yeah, I got to meet all the people.
What'd you think? They're pretty nice?
Yeah, everybody was like super friendly. Probably it was a little bit. There was a couple guys that felt inauthentic, but yeah, like everybody was like high-fiving, and this place, like there's some energy here.
I had somebody once describe walking around our company like we had puppies everywhere. Because everybody is super happy and excited, and it feels like there's just puppies walking around everywhere. Because that's how people operate. Is that how you felt?
Yeah. There was definitely some wagging tails.
Awesome. So Bob, I want to get us started off on the right foot. So we went through the entire interview process. I gave you an offer, but before we ended the offer, I went through some of my expectations and standards. I want to start today off with that. So the first thing, Bob, you agreed to come into this role. Here's your title, right?
Yep.
You figured out where you're going to sit. You got all your gear, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, you understood that I said in the first 30 days, Bob, you were going to commit to learning this, this, and this.
That's right.
In the first 30 days, you were going to commit to doing this, this, and this.
Yep, I made that commitment.
And part of that process, you said that if you had any problems, you were going to communicate with me. And you also said that when you got things done, I was going to have to ask you, you're going to tell me about it, right? You're going to send me a text and let me know.
Yep.
Great. Do you feel like you're super clear on what has to get done in the next 30 days?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Then every day, Bob, I want to get a text just saying, hey, today was good, today was bad, or I feel like I need help tomorrow, or I got this done. You're going to give me an update every single day. You're going to text. I'm never going to call and ask you for it or text you for it, Bob. You're going to text me every single day. Are we clear?
Absolutely, yep.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super clear that my job is not to manage people. My job is not to hold people accountable. My job is to work with accountable people, and I put it back on them. Clarity, expectations. So the very first step after all the swag and the swagger and the tour and the fun stuff of getting out of the business, you're going to sit down and talk about these are expectations.
I love that you're pulling those back out from the interview process and the offer, right? So this is it's in sequence, yet we're pulling from one step to the next step to the next step. You're always referring back to things you've already talked about, already made clear with them. Like Bob even responded, yeah, I've already committed to doing those things.
One of those famous inspirational speakers in the past, somebody walked up to him once and said, you know what the problem is with all your motivation stuff is it never lasts. And he responds back with, neither do showers. That's why I take them often. It's the same thing with expectations and standards. You can't think about it as having one shower in your life. You got to revisit expectations and standards in the interview, at the next interview, on day one, on day two, like until it's just redundant and it's clear. You always revisit it. You're always taking that shower again. So we just went through expectations. Awesome. What I'd like to do, Bob, is I'd like to talk about my priorities for you today. Now, my job as the leader is to clearly communicate the priorities for what winning looks like on day one for Bob. Bob, today I need you to get through this training. I need you to get this set up in your new CRM. I need you to do this, this, and this. If you get the first two done, we're winning. If you get all of them done, I'm going to be impressed. Feel free to win or impress me. Let me know how it goes. I'm very clear on what the priorities are for the day. Any questions about that, Bob?
No. I mean, if it was in the reality would be, I'd probably be like, well, you know, I might need pointed in the right direction. I might need to know who's going to be the person to give me that training or who's going to be the guy that sets me up with my email or my, you know, whatever those things might be. So I might have, you know, in a real life scenario, I might have a question or two, but they would probably just be like, where do I go or how do I get started here maybe?
That's a good point because, Chad, what would it mean if you gave nebulous information and they had zero questions?
They weren't listening.
That could be
right?
one.
Or they're just figured they're going to figure it out and they're going to end up getting nothing done.
Yeah, they're going to just maybe they think they can figure it out. What else?
Maybe they're just really good. Also,
yeah, maybe they actually
might
can
have
get it
paid
done.
attention on the tour and been like, "Oh, that was the guy. I'm going to go over and talk to such and such because Dave's obviously the guy who I need to talk to."
It could also be that they don't feel like they have permission to ask the question, right?
Yeah.
Like. And you want to, like in our organization, you want people to have permission to feel like if you don't know exactly what you need to do, like ask some clarifying questions. And so if you did give somebody some nebulous instructions and they didn't ask any clarifying questions, that might be a time to let them know. Like if there's anything here that's unclear, like we love clarifying questions in the company here because I don't want you started off in the wrong direction, you know, right from the jump.
It's a powerful statement you make there, Bob, about that. And I know, Ben, that's what you're looking for is those questions from people. Because we're trained our whole life to stop asking questions, right? As a child, why? And our parents always usually tell us, you know, shut up, stop, leave it alone because I said so. Teachers, if you gave a wrong answer, you just stop putting your hand up. You've been trained your whole life not to ask questions. So being able to be in that situation to make sure they're asking questions is going to really create a lot about the culture of your company.
So if I had a feeling that there was a lack of clarity, it could be because they're embarrassed or ashamed or they feel dumb or they're scared of you, whatever it might be. I might simply say, in my mind, I might have a problem here. So I'll go back to that person and say, Bob, we just went through the priorities. Tell me what the priorities are. And he's going to go through whatever I just told him.
Hopefully.
And then if he's clear on it, I'll say, great. How are you going to do number one? Well, that's how I'm going to do it. Great. How are you going to do number two? And you say, honestly, I don't know. And I'll say, why didn't you say something? Immediately address the problem. Say the next time that you don't know something and you sit there not knowing, we're going to have a problem. You can ask me a million questions, but you can't ever not ask me one if you don't know.
That's
Fair?
The difference between leadership and management.
Yeah.
Because management, I would have been there to say, okay, Bob, now it's time to do step 2 or priority 2. Here we go. Let's go. Whereas leadership, you're saying, here are the 5 things I want you to get done. Are you clear on them? Good. Now go do them and leave me alone.
Yeah. I do that exercise a lot, especially lately. Tell me what you think I just asked for. Tell me what you think the priorities are.
You want to hear them say it back to you, right? It's one thing for them to take it in and maybe even jot some notes down around it, but when they're forced to speak it back to you, you can tell a lot about the clarity they have on it.
I'm always pretty clear what I think I'm saying.
That's
I'm
for
not
sure.
always super clear what I think they're hearing. And when we move quickly, we can set up great hires for massive, quickly failures.
Yep.
Because we don't see clarity. In fact, for those of you that are still on Twitter, which is like 1% of the population, you can go to twitter.com/Ben Kinney, and there's a pinned image at the top of my Twitter account. And I bring this up when I interview somebody or when somebody works for me. It simply says, how to win with me. Be annoying. Offer ideas. Challenge the status quo. Ask for time to meet. Think outside the box. Tell me what you want to accomplish. Ask for help. Be aggressive. When no one is leading, act like the leader. That's all I expect of you, Bob, on day one, is to visit this list often and make sure that you're checking all the boxes. One of the best things is that you can be annoying. And we all know Bob Stewart. He's super annoying.
Okay, Ben, you just went through how to win with you, and you just did it quickly. And yes, you can go to Twitter. You can see Ben's image that's posted there, or you can just scroll back on your podcast app and go all the way back to season 1, episode 27, where we took the time, Ben, to walk through step by step how to win with Ben Kinney, which helps all of you listeners create a how to win with you opportunity, just the same as Ben has his in place.
I think, like, Ben, I don't know during the interview process if that how to win with me would have come out, but I'm super confident that sometime in that first day that you've got somebody that's going to be working directly with you, they know that they get that introduced to them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So think about a journey of a rocket to the moon.
Okay.
And when a rocket goes to the moon, it looks like this rocket's going straight through the sky and it's going to land on the moon. It's this perfectly planned path. But they make thousands and thousands of minor adjustments. Now think about 2 rockets going to the moon. Imagine if any one of those rockets did not make adjustments at the same time or not continually to make adjustments.
Yep.
Either they're going to collide,
Okay.
or they're going to slowly drift apart. And one rocket might end up at the moon, and the other rocket's going to end up on frickin' Pluto, right? Or they're going to be hanging out with Elon on the Mars, right? Eating the candy bars, going, I'll stop my rhymes.
Thank you.
One of our goals is from day 1 to day 2 for the 2 rockets to stay in alignment on their journey to Mars or to Pluto or to the moon. And the only way you do that is you revisit the relationship and the conversation all the time. The very first day that somebody reports to you, you're going to talk to that person probably hourly. And that might continue for days or weeks. And there's going to be a point in time where you talk to them every couple hours. There's going to be a time when they understand their job that you talk to them at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. There's going to be a time when they know their job so well that you touch base with them once or twice a week. There's going to be a time when you really start touching base with them every couple weeks or every month. And there's going to be a time when you're touching base with them on their department that they're running every quarter. And there's going to be a time when they're actually replacing you and running the company. But only if you can find a way to keep the rockets in alignment. This is what launching talent feels like. It's a journey. You don't come in and throw somebody a bunch of videos to watch or a handbook or go to the YouTubes, right? It's, hey, Bob left his job and decided to come work with this company because he believed in the company and he wanted the opportunity to work together. He can get a job anywhere. He didn't want a job. He wanted the opportunity to work together, right? We want the opportunity to work together with each other, and that's what launching talent could be like. So let me ask you gentlemen a question. If we were to look in 30, 60, or 90-day periods of a brand new hire, what are some common failures on either party, the boss or the hires part? What shows up that you guys can think of?
Well, lack of accountability will show up. They might not, in your example, be sending that text every day regularly that you had asked for. So you're going to start to see that, well, maybe they're not as accountable as they were, or maybe they're getting the job done, but they just don't feel the communication needs to be there.
I love that as your first response, Chad, because there's two things. One, a lack of accountability, and two, a lack of inspection. The leader's job is to
inspect what you expect.
The hire's job is to be accountable to the expectations and standards that they agreed to.
Yep.
So if somebody missed a text with me, I would simply the next day say, Bob, you agreed to text me at the end of the day every day. You didn't text me last night. What happened? And he's going to say, no matter. I don't care what he says. Bob, you agreed to do it. Tonight, can I count on you doing it? He's going to say,
yes.
Bob, what do you need to do to put into place so I never have this conversation with you
I need
again?
to set a reminder in my phone for 9 o'clock after the kids go to bed, like whatever it is.
That's what accountability feels like to me. And you said when I interviewed you, you were accountable and that you were going to do what you said. Day one, you didn't do it. I'm going to give you another chance. It's called day two. But we're not going to have this conversation again. We good?
Yep.
Super clear.
Yep.
What bosses normally do is they come in a week or two later and they say, hey, Chad, you said you were going to text me. It's been 2 weeks since you texted me. Mine happens right there the next day, that night, right? Why isn't that happening?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the rocket ship thing. It's like, I mean, that's a major one, right? Like day one, they don't do the thing they said they were going to do. But it's those, you let it go for 2 weeks, that rocket ship's headed in the wrong direction for 2 weeks. You know, we got to correct it right away to keep it, running parallel with that other rocket.
You see that? Like some people show up on time every day for their career. And those people have high standards and high respect for you and your company. Some people in the first week show up a few minutes late. Like, hey, sorry, a few minutes late. And they realize it's okay. And the next week they show up 2 days, they show up a few minutes late. And then within a month or two, they realize, hey, it doesn't really matter. I can come in anytime between 8:30 and 9. It's because you allow it. If your standards are flexible, so are your results.
You're actually making me ill talking about people being late. That's making me ill over here.
Trust me, we all know, ladies and gentlemen, Chad starts texting us 4 hours in advance of the podcast recording. Are you going to be recording with us today?
On time.
On time. Okay, what else can go wrong in a launching of a new hire?
I think that a lack of aggression can show up pretty, like that can be a pretty obvious thing when you start to hear things like, well, I this thing didn't get done because like Mikey or Josiah, I couldn't get that thing from them. And that lack of aggression, right? And maybe even it's a lack of being annoying. If you needed that thing from Josiah, you needed to be, knocking on his door and how many times did you reach out to him? How many texts have you sent him? How many emails? How many times did you ping him on Slack? Like, I think that lack of aggression shows up pretty quick.
A lack of aggression or assertiveness, or another word, Bob, is a clear sense of priority. Most employees that you hire work hard, but imagine that I was walking through the woods with an axe and I hit 20 trees with my axe. At the end of the day, would I have any lumber?
No.
I'd have
splinters.
20 damaged trees, but no trees have fallen. That's what a lot of times your employees are doing, because you give them a large list of things and they do each one of those things 5% and they never get a tree knocked over. So you feel like they never get anything done. They actually got 5% done on 20 things because you dumped all of them in there. So Bob, in our company, what is it that we do every week to eliminate that?
Priority sheets.
Priority sheet does what?
Keeps us on track for what a win looks like that week. Like, if I got 5 priorities on my sheet, they go in order by the thing that's most important. And if I knock off 4 and 5, but I didn't get 1 and 2 done, like I had a busy week, but I didn't have a winning week.
And who do you send your priority sheet to?
My boss, to you.
Okay. And then if in the priority sheet, what does it tell you? It tells you what the priorities are for this week. What does it tell you about last week?
Did I do them or not?
Yeah, it says these are the 5 things that I said I was going to get done last week, and I got 4 of the 5 done. So they're crossed out. And this week it has these are the 5 things that I want to get done this week. There's no lack of clarity when people take the time to send in their priority sheets, Chad, because I know what they're working on.
Yep.
I also know what they got done. Now, it's not on me. It's on them. They have to send it in. I inspect it and coach them on it. And then they feel like they have this opportunity to have a discussion with us about what winning or losing looks like, because every week they're sending us what they got done. It also gives me an opportunity to celebrate with them. Hey, congrats, your first week was pretty awesome.
I think the other thing it does, like, is it gives that person the opportunity. Like they generally are going to know kind of what the company's goals are, what the company's priorities are, but it gives them a chance to have some autonomy around making decisions in their role that they think are the most important, right? Like, and Ben may come back and say, you gave me these 4 things and you put number 4. I actually think number 4 should be number 1, and we can have a discussion about why that is. And then I can present my case for why I think the one I put number 1 is number 1. But it gives, as an employee, it gives you that sense of like, I own my role. Right. And that might get adjusted. Ben might have some input on that, but I can make these decisions. And there's a lot of power in that. I think when you bring somebody into your organization and you kind of give them the power to set those priorities for themselves, obviously in the framework of what we're doing as a company. But, somebody's not just saying, hey, here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is what you should do. They're saying, here's what I think I should be doing. And there's just a lot of power in giving people that much kind of ownership over their role.
Yeah. To summarize today's piece of the series is, if you're going to spend all this time and energy finding talent and all this time and energy going through the hiring process, spend a proportional amount of time launching them so they have a great experience on day 1 and they get great results in week 1. And that follows up through month 1, month 2, and month 3. That you take the time to create a system for them having clarity on their priorities, and they have clarity on your expectations and standards, so they truly know what winning looks like. Remember, half of the time, the failure of a hire is your fault, the leader's fault, because you didn't do the fiduciary duties of a leader, which is another podcast.
Episode 5, season 1. Scroll on back, folks.
Ooh, way back into the classics. Right. Make sure you take the time to do it. As we continue the talent series, we'll be visiting topics like coaching talent, retaining talent, and interviewing a couple people that are masters at finding talent. I hope you're truly enjoying the talent series. Chad, how do we end this?
Ben, I don't know if we've set the standards for the talent series the way that we should have. So for all of you listening out there, here are the standards. 1, that you're listening to the talent series. Because with every listen every episode gets, we are matching with a donation to a charity selected by you. 2, standard is you share this episode because there's someone out there that needs to hear it that didn't know it was out there. Send this to them. And standard 3 is that you come join us in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/win-make-give, where we get to continue the conversation after the episodes. So make sure you're coming on in there and connecting with all of us. Until our next episode, remember, do good.